pieces of entertainment in this world that I like to call real recognize real pieces. That feeling you get when someone else mentions a song or a movie that you enjoy that isn't necessarily mainstream. There's a level of respect, a real recognize real moment. Sure, everybody knows Master of Puppets, but if somebody pulls up next to you at the red light listening to the Four Horsemen, you give them that head nod and you recognize real. I think one of the biggest examples of this within the horror genre are the Phantasm movies. The tall man has terrified generations of fans, yet he still feels like an unsung hero, or villain in this case. I personally love the Phantasm movies, and I find it's my calling to shine some light on a franchise that deserves respect. If you're a fan of the Phantasm movies, I recognize you're real, dog. But if you aren't, there isn't a shelf life or an expiration date to the fan club. My hope is that I can lead you to something that has brought joy to many of us for decades. So, for the next hour, let Ozark and I be your caretakers. Boys and girls, here is our take on Phantasm III.
Boom! It's the Sloppy Horror Podcast with Christian Ramey and his friend, Ozark Mark. Ozark, I see you over there, dude. I'm getting a little amped up for this episode. Boys and girls, welcome back, all right? Ozark can't contain his excitement. I can't either. I can hear that you guys can't either. I can feel it, all right? Even though you're not hearing this right now, I know when you do, you're going to be pretty pumped up because this is the first Phantasm movie we've ever covered. And I'm going to be honest, I know that you haven't seen any of them. And this makes me happy that you jumped into the...
What? First of all, how dare you
It's a
try to
rando.
assume that I have never seen Phantasm before, okay? How dare you?
It's a random franchise.
But you are correct. I have never heard of Phantasm. I have never seen Phantasm.
I know horror fans that haven't seen Phantasm. And this is one of those ones where it's almost like a Star Wars or a wrestling or Pokemon or something. If you weren't into it when you were little, highly doubt that you're gonna like jump into it as you're older and when you get older, unless someone really directs you down that road. But for the most part, people that are like, what's up, man, you don't like Star Wars? They like Star Wars their whole life. I'm one of those people. But like if you didn't see it till you're an adult, you're like, it just isn't the same. Or wrestling, for example, like when you're little, if you watched wrestling, when you get older, even if you're not like into it like you were when you were little, you could see kids watching it and you're like, oh yeah, they're watching some wrestling. What you guys watching? Who's this? You could see what's going on. But if you didn't watch it when you're little, you're like, what is this? What the fuck is going on? So Phantasm falls right into that category. And the third one, I think, believe it or not, is one of the most cohesive out of all of them. And I think it does a great job at like explaining the backstory right at the beginning, and it just kind of brings you up to speed of what's happening. Like you figure it out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm glad it did that. It did a recap for me. That's what older movies do, horror movies do, which I like. They give you a recap of what happened real quick. Mm-hmm. So I kind of knew what was going on. But
the tall man, he's cool, he's creepy. Obviously played by the late, great Angus Scrimm, which was a stage name. I forget his real name, but we're going to call him by his cool stage name because that's what he wanted to be called. Directed by the legendary Don Coscarelli, and these are stories that he created. This guy's real cool-ass dude. I mean, I don't know him personally. I don't know. He could beat children and shit behind closed doors. I don't know. But, like, from what I've heard of the guy, real stand-up guy. I've read his book, True Indie. It's actually, if you want to be honest too, go to Audible, check out his audiobook. It's called True Indie by Don Coscarelli. If you're into the Phantasms or Beastmaster, or really just filmmakers at all, like I don't care if you've never seen this. I bet you, like Mark, I could give you this book. An audiobook read by somebody else just feels like a podcast. Like if read by you. Like, if you wrote a book and then you read it, that would just feel like a podcast. And that's what it feels like, because, the inflections that you wrote with, you're going to get. It's not going to be, and then I went to the store. After the store, I got a sandwich. Like, it's not going to sound like that. You're going to be like, yeah, I went to the store. And then,
I got a sandwich.
Yeah, it's going to sound right. So That's a real treasure. It goes into great detail behind all these movies. So I will point that out to all the folks out there. I was looking through and I was on Audible looking for something to listen to, and I saw Rob Zombie comment it. And he said, this is one of the best books for filmmakers, horror fans, whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. That's right there for me. And he wasn't lying. Great book. One of the best I've ever listened to. So this guy, the book is true indie because all these films, like a lot of early horror films, were independent movies. That wasn't necessarily the way he wanted to break into the scene. But most people know Don Coscarelli from Phantasms. He just did a lot of practical effects. Like his first few movies and shit, like his mom would like be the costume director and she'd make the food and shit and cater for, like, could you imagine? Like, you're like, Mom, I'm gonna make this movie. But like at your age right now, she's like, all right, well, I guess I'll cook for all of you and I'll make a suit for you. And that's an MVP, Mom. Like,
Yeah.
That's an MVP.
Yeah, for sure.
So very cool stuff in that regard. But the Phantasm franchise at this point, even though it was rolling, it still faced some issues to get made. So that, we'll kind of jump into some of that and we'll give a synopsis and, get back to our normal routine.
Sure.
But first, boys and girls, if you enjoy this show and you're looking for a fun way to support the show, a very cheap way to support this show, and a way to get some bonus flavor for your ass, you can go to patreon.com/sloppyhorror, and there you can find bonus episodes where myself, Christian Ramey, and the best producer in the world, Ozark Mark, we make some fun episodes, not always about scary movies. We're talking crazy shit. This last episode, we did like a fast food bracket, like with individual items. Ozark Mark he crowned his favorite. And if you want to find out what Ozark Mark's favorite fast food item is, if you want to know what he looks like naked, go to patreon.com/sloppyhorror. And another thing that this man has done, aside from producing the show and putting nudes on Patreon, he has made some awesome merchandise. You would think with all this cool clothes he's made, he would keep some on. But he can't help himself. Ladies, Ozark Mark has made some clothes for you. Little babies out there listening to the show, there's clothes for you. Hey.
Is there? I think there is.
Hey, I'm a bigger guy that can't fit into stuff. That's okay, dog. We got some shit for you.
We got everything you could ever want.
Yes. And you can let the world know that you're a sloppy whore, and you can let the world know that you help keep the lights on around here. So, even though you won't hear any other advertisements for the rest of the show, you keep us in mind, okay? Now, let's go back to our normal programming. Let's talk about some motherfucking Phantasm 3. I want to say Poltergeist 3 because that's what we covered last week. Another P3. It's a P3, dog. P3! That's what I wanted to say. So, this Phantasm movie kind of takes place like the rest of them. If you're unfamiliar, we have a man called the Tall Man. And I want to say there was a little bit of inspiration from A Nightmare on Elm Street, from Phantasm, when Wes Craven was making A Nightmare on Elm Street. You just have a dreamlike character. Somebody that's able to like cross into other dimensions and things like that. One of the first really to be able to do that. If we're thinking, because these movies came out, this one's in the 90s, but the first one was 78, 79 maybe. So not your normal MO. But what we have is the Tall Man, and he moves into towns and he becomes an undertaker. But eventually he starts harvesting bodies, the new dead bodies, and then he starts making new dead bodies, killing people until he like dries the whole town out, okay? In the first movies, he had done that, and he had a young boy, our protagonist named Mike, and he's trying to make it. He's trying to make it, dog. He's trying to make it through this movie, and he comes back now that he's older, because he's a little boy in the first one, and, he succeeds with the very lovable character, the ice cream man, what the fuck? Reggie, yeah. I just wanted to say Ronnie. Reggie the Ice Cream Man. Reggie the Ice Cream Man, he's in all these movies. He really becomes the star in this one. But him and Mike, They're grown. They're on the run from the tall man in the third one, and he's kind of really tall man's really fucking with their brain. And the tall man, once he takes over these bodies, he can turn them into zombies, and then he can also like manifest them into these like little. They look like little sand people from Star Wars, like these little troll guys, yeah, and robes, and pretty creepy, pretty fun. But they're on the run this whole time, and the fun part about Don Coscarelli movies and the Phantasm movies, I'm always like on the tip of my tongue where these movies remind me of something else, right? They've got a little bit of everything in there. Even like the bullies that these guys run into, like the looters, the bad guys, like those guys had like a bad guy look from like the fucking 50s Batman. So, you know what I mean? Like
one dude had a big gold chain on with a money symbol on it.
Right. So, but it like worked. Like I'm not mad at. Like I enjoyed that it was that way because it was so over the top where it was like, oh, this is theater. Like this is theatrical. Like in a way, it's not like. Because sometimes it's like, what the fuck? This seems like. But no, these guys were full send, and there's a real tongue-in-cheek quality to the Phantasms, and Don Coscarelli is like a sweet dude, man. Like, he's not some, like, yeah, fuck you, we make movies, motherfucker. Like, he's not that type dude. Like, he's like, I enjoy making movies. Like, he's super nice, sweet, down-to-earth kind of dude. And you could just pick that up in these movies. And the third one especially, it just has all the key components. Even has my dream car, Mark, the 71 Cuda.
Oh, the 71 Plymouth Cuda. Mm-hmm. What a beautiful vehicle.
I like the one on Nash Bridges better.
As soon as I saw that vehicle, I was a little bit sticky, if you know what I'm saying. God damn, what a beautiful automobile.
Yeah, and they've stuck with the Cuda throughout the whole franchise. Obviously, the hearse as well. But I love that they had that. And I'm not going to lie, it's not even my dream car mainly because of this movie. It was like, it got cemented by this movie because it was from Nash Bridges. Like, he had the yellow one with the hood scoop, and I just love that one. It just looked fucking mean. Like, I don't love all yellow vehicles, but if it's yellow, like, I feel like it has to be mean as fuck. Like, you can't have, like, a soft yellow car. Like, you have to have the meanest of mean.
Yeah.
Does it make sense to you? Like,
yeah, it has to be, if you have a yellow car, it has to be mean as fuck.
Yeah, dude.
You can't have a fucking hybrid and it be yellow.
Yeah, man. So I always loved that car when I was younger. And then, like, as I got older and realized that because I didn't realize till I was, like, teenage or maybe even early 20s that it was the same vehicle. Like, it was, like, because it was black. I knew it was a badass muscle car, but I didn't know, like, that they were the same vehicle. And I was like, dude, I love this car. I fucking love this car.
70s muscle. Nothing beats the 70s muscle cars, man.
Yeah, man. And then I'm glad that they gave it like some actual just glorified commercial shots, like the shot taken off from the gas station. That was just
to. I mean, that's like it's like half the budget.
Bro, I had like my speaker like listening to it like my Bose, and it was just like
yeah, when it pulls away from the gas station, it's just a goddamn beautiful sound.
That's Nash Bridges one, the yellow one.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat because it almost has like a Cadillac kind of look to it, like very nice, beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's an added bonus. I love that the tall man has certain lines that he just hits in all of them. Boy, like that's how I talk to my son.
I think he's a great villain, honestly, and it adds to the fear because he's a normal-looking individual. Mm-hmm. He's not burnt to a crisp. He doesn't have a mask. He doesn't, he's just an old, tall man.
Yeah, dude.
Like, you see old, tall men everywhere. So I like him as a villain.
You know when he came into fucking Reggie's apartment and the smoke is filling in and then, like, Mike has a flashback when he was, like, saw him at the ice cream truck? That's one of my favorite parts of that first movie. I don't know why. He's just walking down the street and then like the ice cream door opens and the ice comes out or like the little steam and he just does this like it's still funny. It's like a South Park moment, dude. It looks like it's illustrated in South Park. Like it's so fucking funny to me. I don't know if others find it funny, but the fact that they included that little blurb like that's my favorite part of the original Phantasm. It has like nothing to do with the story. It's like a creepy moment, but I just thought it was funny. And I mean, if we're going to be, you know, right down to the crux of it, the Phantasm movies aren't great. Like, they're not incredible Godfather-like movies, but that they're horror flicks. That's not what they're there to do.
No, this is the definition of a horror flick. Not a movie, a horror flick.
But if we're being fair, these are unique. And there are very few movies in this world that feel unique. You find a lot of carbon copies, like, we'll make a cop movie, or we'll make one like this one, or we'll, Blair Witch did good, we'll do this one.
This is unique. You're right.
Something would feel like Phantasm. Phantasm doesn't feel like something else. Things feel like Phantasm.
Right. So that that's when you know it's unique, because you're gonna compare other movies to a Phantasm.
For sure.
I can't think of any other movie that reminds me of Phantasm after seeing it.
It's a fun little elite club. Like, falls in the Salem's Lot generation, where folks that know Salem's Lot will probably know Phantasm. But, I mean, people still talk about Halloween John Carpenter, and that came out the year before this, the original. So, what's interesting is how this one doesn't live out like that, but the people that do, if you hear somebody that's like the tall man, you just fall with that, like, like that elite club of, like, I seen it.
That's right. I'm in the club now because I seen it.
And then
the first thing I've noticed, though, that clicked in my brain when watching this movie was the score.
Best score ever.
Do you know why I recognize the score from?
Because we've used it as rap beats back in the day.
Yeah, and it's also Pass Me the Green from Master P. Like, watching these old horror movies, I never realized how much, like, the era of hip-hop that we grew up with sampled from these horror movies.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing I love better than a hip-hop beat that's sampled from a old horror movie. And I thought, I'm just listening, I was like, just send it Pass Me the Green. But the score is awesome.
Next time, like,
I love the score of this movie.
When you're handing out candy and stuff, and it's like you're the person, like, putting on creepy music on the porch, Phantasm score, dude. I don't know if it was... I don't remember which song it was that we did. I don't remember, but it's Storytime. The song we did called Storytime, but that's the graveyard song from the first one. Like, there's, like, a funeral going on, and it's a beautiful song. But Don mentions that in True Indie. He said, I forget, it's not a synthesizer. It's another kind of instrument that they use. I don't remember what the hell they called it. Obviously, I know what a metronome is, but it sounded similar to that. But I know it was like an early version of a synthesizer. Well, Don said that he had to make a score, and he, like, had these young dudes do it, and they, like, stayed up and made it. And, like, he's like, I remember the first time I heard it, and he was like, I was just blown away. It was so good.
Dude, that can make or break a movie, the score.
I mean,
honestly,
think about The Shining, bro. Like, that score makes the movie scarier. I mean, from the start.
It makes this movie a little bit scarier, but I mean, I like it. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love the score. I could listen to the score of this movie just randomly, just throw it on there.
It's up there with Suspiria.
Yeah.
It's up there. I mean, it's one of the best.
Suspiria was dope. I forgot about Suspiria, but that's something I won't forget, and I won't forget the score of this movie either. This will always be in my head. Yeah,
it's a good one. I really do appreciate the score and just the creativity that comes with these movies. Then it's its own world. It's definitely, you're taking an adventure. It's fantasy, but it's not some 3-hour adventure generally. You're talking an hour and 35 minutes for the most part with a lot of these flicks. So it doesn't take up much of your time, but a classic character with the tall man. They brought back Mike for this one. So that was kind of cool because the audience liked this, but there was a time frame where they didn't know really the future of the Phantasms, and I mean, it took a lot of work even by the third one to get this to come out, and that doesn't always... It's the unfortunate part about horror movies. Like, even when you have a successful franchise, sometimes it goes in the wrong hands and studio executives are like, I don't know what to do. They were about to straight the DVD his ass or straight the VHS his ass. It wasn't, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. Not a good look.
Not a good look at all there.
The MPAA, they were always breaking his balls about ratings, things like that. But it was the spears, dude. I mean, how cool are the spears? What a cool concept. And all practical effects on all of them.
Oh, yeah.
And the first one, they tried to, he was like, how do we, I mean, to get those to work, they didn't know how to make that effect work. And then eventually he was like, what if I just throw it? Because they were like just putting strings on it, trying to make it look invisible, doing all kind of shit, and doing like reverse things where they would have it on the dude's head and taped and pull it back. They said like nothing would look good. It all just looked fucking stupid. And one dude was like, what if I just throw it? And they're like, all right, let's do it.
Fucking try it.
And they're like, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fun.
Nothing made me want, like, all right. You ever wonder, like, when you watch horror movies, you're like, all right. One thing that goes through your mind is like, all right, how am I going to survive? How would I survive this situation? I'm stuck between a fucking big Louisville slugger bat or a tennis racket. You're fine. You can survive this.
Reggie has the quadruple shotgun.
That thing is a beast, though. I like how he's got a flashlight taped to it.
What's so funny is
Duct
like
tape.
at the beginning of the movie, like Mike's like passed out on the fucking on the ground, and he's trying to wake him up, but then he like fires that fucking quadruple barrel shotgun like 2 inches from his face, and he's like, "Come on, Mike, let's go." It's like Mike's deaf now. Like you've deafened Mike.
Yeah.
He can't hear.
And then I like how he just aims up and like 4 of those creatures just fall down.
Bro, what about the badass little kid in this movie?
Dude, that reminded me of some fucking Macaulay Culkin Home Alone shit.
Same, bro. He like has his house all rigged up because what had happened to this small child that Reggie meets along his adventure is this small kid's like the only person left in this town. Tall man came through and killed everybody, and this kid made it, but then he like rigged his house up like Home Alone because just in case any looters come by. And they do. And these looters come, and he makes light work of them. But it's Home Alone, but rated R. And my boy has a Frisbee with razor blades all around it. And he throws it, and he just slits dude's throat. And it's so stupid, cheesy, and awesome at the same time. He's just like... Yeah, he was going ham on those dudes.
That little kid was a beast, man.
A fucking...
A dead shot.
Yeah, bro.
With a revolver.
Like,
That's hard to do, all right? That's hard to do.
As a child.
Especially a child.
Fucking Billy the Kid.
No kickback. I like how there's no kickback every time he fires a gun. I always find that hilarious in movies. Because they just forget. Like, you could tell actors have never shot a gun before because, like, every gun has a fucking kickback. Especially a fucking big revolver with a child. They're going to get kickback.
We're going to ask Alec Baldwin about this.
Stop it. Stop it.
Excuse me, Alec?
Stop it.
Is it Alec or Alex?
Poor Reggie. All the man wanted to do was get his dick sucked.
I know, bro. And then
Well, technically he did by a demon lady.
Fuck it, run it, you know? Like, look, just stop your stuff. You're going to finish. Okay, this is not how you're going to finish, and then we got to go separate ways.
What would you do? I like how, like, he was having a dream and he finally was, like, banging Rocky.
Yeah.
And then his friend is in the corner, like, Reggie, I need to talk to you. He's like, a little busy right now.
Yeah, Rocky was cool, too. Like, they meet her and her friend. I mean, she's this super cool, like, foxy black chick that has nunchucks and shit. Like, you're like, all right, I like this because it wasn't 70s. This is a 90s movie. So
Right.
it's like kind of a character in its own self. And you're like, all right. I want to, because I collect a lot of little horror stuff here. I've seen some pretty cool things at the cons where people have phantasm balls, like kind of like set up like in a cool little display,
Yeah.
I have it down here with the pinhead cube and things like that. But I want to get a cool one, man. I don't know if I want it like opened with the blade or if I want the ones with the saws.
Get one with a brain in it.
That one's pretty cool, dude.
Are our brains that small? I feel like they're anatomically not correct in this.
No, our brains are bigger.
That's what I thought.
It's like a pound of hamburger.
I don't know. I thought it's not the size of your fist, though, right?
I think that's your heart. Your heart's the size of your fist.
Oh.
Look at us
No
being
wonder
scientists.
why people with small hands are assholes.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense to me.
I think it does.
What are you going to do? What are you gonna do? But yeah, you get some great kills in here. The thing, if you did watch these when you were little, or I mean, I guess when you're older too, there's just parts that live in your head rent free, so to speak. There's little silver fucking spears. Like that's a death machine. Like that's just what I think of that as, and that's just like an irrational thing. Like it's just an irrational thing that only you would know if you've seen this movie. And
does it make you feel a little discombobulated?
It does. It does. It does.
Do you know what it feels like to be combobulated?
There's not a difference.
Nobody ever says, "Do you feel combobulated?" Just, "Do you feel discombobulated?"
They don't.
How do you know if you feel combobulated?
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know.
Okay, I just wanted to ask you that.
If you're combobulated, I mean, right now we're fully lubricated and combobulated, and articulated, and erected.
No, you ruined the line. There's no rhyme there.
I messed it up.
Oh my God! How can you? Okay. Anyways,
how could I do this on P3? Can't be ruining it.
Little kid's a badass, man. He jumped out of the back of a hearse.
Yeah,
that would have hurt.
That was pretty creepy though, man. When he saw his parents all dead.
I was afraid when he opened it up, they'd be like banging or something. I love the zombie noise that his dad made. He's like, maybe then it was like, that's what I want zombies to make the noise.
I love when a spear hit the one chick in the head and it was just spraying blood, bro.
Oh yeah, that was a ridiculous amount coming out of the spear, leaking.
Yeah, dude.
Like over the top leaking.
Water faucet.
That's what I want in these horror flicks. I want a little bit of cheese over the top. If we're already getting, yeah. You know what I mean? If we're already at the moment where this is going to be a cheesy horror flick, let's do a little fun with it.
Yeah, let's make it fun. And I can promise you one thing, that the reason why these movies, like the bad movies, are good is because if you watch a new Top Gun movie, if you watch a whatever, these movies are predictable. You have an idea of what's happening. You know what's going on. A lot of the feel-good stories, you know how it's going to happen. Like, you know it's going to come back around. And it's a ride, okay? You get in the Uber ride, and then you go the speed limit, and you go to your direction, and then you get out, and then that's it. These movies are like 90 miles an hour. You do a fucking U-turn. We're going to drift around this. If you've never seen these movies, you have no idea what's coming around the corner. I mean, a lot of these old horror flicks are like that. You just don't know what's coming, and I think that's what's so enjoyable and so funny about them. Is just like, what the fuck? Like, you just have moments of like, what is going on?
Yeah,
like, what is happening?
Yeah, you know it's gonna happen, but you also don't. That's awesome.
Yeah, obviously, some of the things you're in store for that you're going to get. You expect a little, TNA, maybe some, over-the-top cheese and some gore.
I didn't expect Reggie to try and make a move on Rocky. It's just like, he rolls over in the bed like, you ever been with a vanilla?
He's just throwing it down.
He's just a horny ice cream man.
Just trying to get his fill. What are you going to do in life? You gotta do something. Reggie, shoot your shot, buddy. I mean, he's got a quadruple shotgun, though. He's rolling around life like a badass. He's taking chances. He's been fighting the tall man for years.
That's a cool weapon.
Yeah. I like that he's an ice cream man, though. Like, that just adds another element. I mean, he's not in the ice cream truck a lot in this, but, like, once you go back to the first one, there's just, like, because this guy's like a musician in real life, or he wanted to be.
He looks like a musician.
He got mainly.
He looks like a music teacher.
He does. That's exactly what he looks like.
He looks like a music teacher.
Like, or somebody's uncle.
Yeah.
He's definitely somebody's uncle.
Probably.
With that ponytail, you're an uncle. You're an uncle to somebody. You've got some cool stories. I wish he was my uncle. Go over his house, eat fish sticks. He could tell me cool stories, okay? Take me fishing, all right?
What you want fish sticks? Ugh.
Fish sticks are good.
No, they're not. No.
I just feel like Reggie would eat fish sticks. I feel like he has fish sticks in his freezer. I mean, it's a good staple.
No.
Fish? I know you eat fish, Ozark Mark.
I don't eat fish.
Look, your palate is accustomed to fish flavor. Okay?
My palate?
Yeah.
The fuck are you talking about?
I'm talking about that. I know for a fact. You've gone to third base with a grown woman. Okay? So I know that your tongue can handle these flavors. I know it's a fact.
Stop it.
It's science.
These flavors.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
What's your favorite flavor of fish? Do you like sweaty fish? Do you like freshly cleaned fish?
Like right after a marathon?
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah, that's low tide, dog.
No, we'll probably go, it doesn't matter if we're talking fried catfish or if we're talking salmon, with some taters. It doesn't matter. I like some fish. It's good for you.
All right, I'm very confused on which kind of fish we're talking about now because we went. Okay. Fried fish. Anyway, let's find out more facts about this movie, Phantasm. Welcome to the What Do You Know here. This is a segment here where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie, Phantasm III, P3, for you kids out there listening at home. Now, if this is your first time here, we're going to tell you how this is going to go. We're going to tell you things we know about this movie. Now, you may know what we know, you may not what we know, but if you know what we know, you're going to have a we know-gasm. If you don't know what we know, we're about to find out what we know, and you're going to have a we know-gasm too. Yeah. 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 So here's what I know, bitch. Let me tell you.
Okay.
So this movie came out in 1994.
Uh-huh.
4. There was so much gore in it
Yeah.
that the MPAA was going to rate this movie NC-17.
Those little fuckers.
You can't have that.
No.
So, he had to take out a lot of the gore, especially the spear scene where the ball goes into the broad's head and it's blue and blood everywhere.
God rest the soul.
Yeah, so they had to cut a lot of that out to get a rated R rating, but thankfully DVDs came out around that time. So then, the version you probably watched, I probably watched, was probably the unrated original version with all the gore in it, but they had to switch that out.
That's true, because DVDs was like 99, it's just a couple years later.
Right, so,
It worked out.
The DVDs came out, then they could release that and then have the original gore in it. I didn't even think that was that bad.
No.
But apparently in the 90s, a bunch of people were pussies.
Yeah.
They couldn't handle all that gore and shit from the scene there, so that's what happened. It was going to be NC-17 originally. They had to cut some out.
You know what, though?
Huh.
That's an interesting fact.
I thought it was. That's why I told you it.
I've got something interesting, too.
Okay.
So Reggie Bannister, the guy who plays Reggie, the ice cream man,
Yeah.
same name, right?
Uh-huh.
He was a musician. He did music in between these movies, and they weren't like crazy, I can quit my real job now and do whatever movies. So he was still working.
Yeah, he's playing Kroger Pharmacy.
Right, so he's living his life. He's living his life, he's doing his music. But he actually got a job at a fucking mortuary in like a graveyard, okay? So,
Kind of
in between-
ironic.
Right. He's kind of the reason this third movie got made, because he found a cool new filming location because he was working at a place. He called down, he says, look at this place, look at this mausoleum, it's beautiful, we could do some stuff. It got the juices flowing.
That's awesome.
So that's how they made the movie. But if you lost a loved one in Southern California in between Phantasm 2 and 3, there's a good chance that Reggie might have been carrying the body off. Could you imagine, like, if your grandpa died and you looked up and you're like, get the fuck out of here,
That's
dude.
the guy who carried us in.
That's the Phantasm guy. It's the tall guy back there. Hey, whoa, hey, whoa.
Huh.
What's going on here? But that's an interesting little fact.
That's a very interesting little fact. I did not know that at all.
Yeah, yeah. You know what else is kind of fun?
What's that?
A really good fact.
What's that? Tell me.
In the scene where the hearse flips over,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, when it does a little loopy-loop and it goes all willy-nilly.
Yeah, so here's a fun part about this.
It was a toy car.
No.
Mm.
I forget what they call these little stunts where it's like called like a pipe flip or some shit. I forget what the fuck it's called.
They use a pipe and
They flip the car over,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So, Don Coscarelli, this is his first time filming a scene like this with the car flipping over in a stunt. He got a really cool stunt guy he liked to use, okay? Really talented guy, guys. Very talented. Did a lot of pictures. So, he gets in this movie. Don doesn't know a whole lot, so he's trying to film the scene perfectly. But when this dude hits this little fucking ramp that was so fucking loud where Don's instinct was to close his eyes. And like he just kind of reflexed, filmed it with his hands because he didn't know, right? What was also crazy is when the stunt guy hit the ramp, it knocked him out unconscious. So like when the car's flipping and all that shit, dude is unconscious already in there. He's fucking out. He's out like a light.
Fuck.
Yeah, so, and the scene got filmed perfectly. It looked great, but that was all reflex because Don said he, like, just closed his eyes. Like, when you're on a roller coaster and you go down the hill,
Yeah.
you don't mean to. It's just instinct. You just close your eyes. And that's what he did.
That's pretty impressive.
It's fun stuff.
That's great stuff. I want
Little
to know.
happy accidents. You know.
You just wake up. Do you get the shot? Good thing he was unconscious though, because that thing flipped like 7 times.
Yeah, that was pretty intense.
It was intense. I love how all the vehicles explode too, like
Yeah.
ridiculously.
It's not an 80s or 90s movie without that.
I know you gotta have the car exploding.
You could shoot the gas tank once and it's like an atom bomb.
I know.
Mushroom cloud.
You love it. You gotta love it. Okay, that's great. Good facts.
3 facts for Phantasm III.
3 facts for the P3.
P3.
Yeah.
P3.
Okay, that's enough.
I feel like if the tall man came into my life, I would ask him some questions. Because he's not as, like, menacing. Like, he's terrifying, but he, like, answers questions. All right? And you're like, look here, dude. I need to know what's going on. All right? I need to know what's happening.
He looks like a relative of Ask Jeeves.
Yeah. Like, you could just, like, recommend them to, like, bad parts of the world. You're just like, go clean up. Go clean up, all right? It's bad here, okay? Just go take care of these certain parts of the world, like where, you know, maybe it's very heavily violent and things like that, and you just have, like, you know...
Yeah, why is he going to all these small towns? Go to some place where it'd be useful.
Like a third world country or something, you know? Let all the good people go that are being held hostage by these bad, like, crazy groups, and you can just do that, dog. Why doesn't that work? Okay? I can help you, all right? I'm a salesman. I can help you, all right? I'm not going to be like Elias in Die Hard where I'm going to, you know, or
We
Ellis.
can have all the silver ball spears you want.
Now, that would be cool. Like, what's it going to take for me to get one of those, all right? I want one of these, okay?
Go to Amazon, dude. Yeah, no, go to Hobby Lobby. It's just a decorative thing.
No. I'm talking about in real life. The tall man comes into my life. I'm asking him, how do I get some of these, dude? How do I get a couple of your Pokeballs that I can throw out? And, you know, if I my enemies, dog. Where can I get Phantasm balls to throw at all my ops, dog?
Phantasm balls.
Yeah.
What if that big bean in Chicago was just a big Phantasm ball?
Holy shit, dude. Holy shit.
What if that's like where he's stationed at? You're never going to look at that bean the same again.
No.
No.
I'm not going there.
You know the stupid bean in Chicago where everybody takes a fucking selfie in it
Yeah.
for no reason.
Look, it's a bean.
It's a big reflective bean. This is a great... This is a great tourist attraction. Let's just make a big reflective bean for no reason. I never understood it. It makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. Why? Why do we...
What makes me laugh, though, is like...
It's the biggest waste of space minus the cemetery.
You know what's funny, too, here in Cincinnati? Like, we have, like, the Flying Pig Marathon. It's like a big race. And then there was some time in the late 90s where, like, there were many designs for these pigs. And, like, kids drew in contests for these pigs. And people drew in for contests. And people voted on them. And these pigs were decorated to certain things. Like, one would look like the Cincinnati Reds pig. One was like a pizza pig. One, like, there's so many different designs of these pigs. But, like, certain people have bought these pigs throughout the years, and like you just drive by a random person's yard and they just got like one of those pigs, and you're like, ha.
Some restaurants still have the pigs in them. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Why is there a bunch of pigs around?
Bunch of fucking pigs. I don't know. It's P3, man. Think about it, Mark.
I just lost my train of thought. I was gonna ask you something.
It's okay.
I don't remember now.
You got caught all up in the dreamlike state of the tall man. He's taken over your thoughts now, and he's gonna get you. He's gonna get you. Sorry, dude. Hate to tell you like this. Although I don't know. I think we could outsmart him. Okay.
No, we can't, because he just keeps coming back.
We'll figure it out.
How many Phantasm movies are there? There's like 7 or 8, right?
Yeah.
Just keeps coming back. Mm-hmm. And he wins every time. I like that, though. I like how the villain wins.
Yeah, I love those fuck you endings.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought we were going to be nice? Fuck you.
And I love older horror movies where they just end it. Like, no 5-minute after shot of what they're doing now and how they're living, or 3 months later, or 2 years later. It's just like, it's over.
Everything's okay now, and I've learned from my experiences.
No, it's just them walking away. It's like they kill them, and they're just walking away, and then here come the credits. Like, oh.
Cool.
All right.
That's the way it should be.
I agree. This movie is an hour and a half long. Thank God. It's a perfect amount.
Perfect amount of time for a flick like this. Yeah, I can't deny. I mean, I've been a fan of the franchise. I haven't seen like the more recent one that came out. I actually heard some positive things about it, believe it or not. But like the original 3, the 4th one is a little bit more modern. It's like 2000s, and then they're more modern from that point. But these first 3, they were just random weird ass movies that I watched a lot as a kid.
Yeah. Especially that I like how they got once he turns them, they got like yellow ooze coming out in the beginning.
That hospital scene.
The hospital scene in the beginning where the nurse tries to attack Michael, or Mike, or whatever his name is. Mm-hmm. and he just splurts all over Reggie's face and his mouth. Oh God.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. It was like a honey mustard substance.
Yeah, it's a mouthful of ooze. Nothing that color can taste good.
Honey mustard, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What if it's just honey mustard?
That's what I thought. Like, you remember in Hostel when he burnt that chick's face and her eyeball was hanging out and he clipped it, and then it made me laugh because I felt like somebody just like squirt the mustard. Because ketchup you can't use because it's like, oh, it's ketchup. It doesn't work. But for some reason with mustard, I still feel like you don't have to doctor it up much. There's not much you have to do. There are certain kinds of mustard you have inside your fridge that you could use as a special effect where it's like, your ears falling off. It's just, you're like, ew, what is that? So it's just mustard. Just put a pretzel to it.
Don't use the spicy brown mustard. We're saving that for food.
Yeah. But classic yellow mustard, if you had that come out of somebody.
That shit. Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, I could do it, but it's just everybody's
yellow mustard in their fridge is expired, probably. Okay. Nobody likes classic yellow mustard.
Yeah, you want that.
You leave it out there for an option when you have company, but nobody ever picks it. Nobody likes classic yellow mustard.
The real ones know about the Wober's sweet and spicy. All right? It is the best mustard in the world, hands down. Like, there's no other option. I've always had it. You'll always find it in my fridge at all times, especially on sandwiches.
Sandwiches?
Oh, my God, buddy. That's good stuff. I just can't do the mayo.
So you're a Miracle Whip
Nope, can't do that either.
Not even just on a little, it's like a little layer on the sandwich. You need a little layer on the sandwich.
Some
Yes,
mustard.
you do. And I think I
That's
feel
where
like
mustard comes in.
I feel like we've had this conversation before, but I'm telling you, if you have a sandwich, you need a little bit of mayo on it, just a little bit, so it's not dry.
That's where the mustard comes in, homie.
No, you can't put mustard on everything. No.
Ham, turkey.
No. Enough of this. All right.
My wife's hillbilly family will eat salami and ketchup sandwiches.
Ew.
I've seen my wife eat them.
Ew.
I'm like, bro,
Ew.
if you don't get that out of my face.
First of all, I'd rather eat a salami and ketchup sandwich versus a tuna and peanut butter sandwich, you fucking nasty ass.
It's good.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not fucking good. All right, enough of this. Let's rate this movie.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah!
Oh my lord, you have made it this far into the episode. Now you're curious, just as am I, as to wondering what Phantasm III rates on the sloppy horror rating system. Now, what is the sloppy horror rating system, you new son of a bitch? This is your first episode and you took this long to get here. I'll tell you how it's gonna go down. Christian Ramey, your favorite horror nerd, your scary movie companion, has developed a rating system based on a horror movie, not a movie in general. These are the key elements that make a horror movie the great horror movie. It tells you what kind of horror movie you're going to get into. A low score doesn't mean it's bad. A good score doesn't mean it's good. Doesn't matter. Just develops on what kind of horror movie you're looking for. So, how are we going to do this? We're going to do this in a series of 4 categories. 3 of the categories are worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of
10 points altogether.
correct. So why don't we get hootin' man and hootin' and down into it with the first category here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
Wow, that's a lot of casting. Now let's think here. It's feeling like a 1 all day. 1 all day. A 1. A 1. 1 point. You guys? Yeah. 1 point for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 1 for sure. People work.
Yeah.
Star-studded cast. Works for me. 1 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Is getting the second category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is kills.
Gills is probably a pretty good category. It's feeling like a solid 2 to me. Solid 2. There's a lot of spear deaths. There's some killing of creatures. There's just death throughout this whole movie, and they're all in different ways. And there is some blood and carnage. It's not like all away from the screen. Sometimes it's in your face. So I feel like a 2, right?
Well, what are all
So at the beginning,
gunshot kills, cars exploding, spears to the head gushing out,
yeah, the little dude threw that fucking tomahawk through that chick's head.
beheadings,
Throat slitting with the frisbee.
Yeah, okay.
Not
All
a
right.
3, but a 2.
No, but there's pretty creative, and there's some gore, and there's some, I like that. Okay, 2. All right, 2. 3 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the final 3-point category here, and that is fear.
Fear. I don't know if there's much fear in this movie. No fear. No.
Fun.
Fun?
Fun.
You
I
want
think
to
I'm
go,
gonna go with the fun point.
you want to go
because-
back to German?
Fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, because
No, I like Australian.
I'm trying to think of the time period when it came out. I'm trying to think about who the villain is. I'm trying to think about the premises behind it. An old man is kind of creepy, and he's realistic. He's not some fantasy kind of character. He's just a regular-ass dude, like I said before. A tall-ass, creepy old man in a mausoleum fucking taking... That's kind of scary.
Kind of.
Driving in a hearse, it's kind of scary. I can see how some people fear the tall man.
It's kind of fucking creepy.
I can see that. I
I tell you what, man. When I was a little boy and I seen that tall man, I'd run so fast back yonder to get my pallet, my blankets, because we wouldn't go bathroom at night time because we knew.
That's exactly what I'm talking
That
about.
tall man would be out there.
Yeah, so that is a 1 there. So that is 4 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get in the final 1 point category for half a point each here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is rewatchability.
Oh, God, this movie's so rewatchable. Oh. Actually, I don't know, Mark. I mean, this is going to be a split decision, maybe. I don't know. If we're going to be frank and completely fair, I've seen this movie multiple times. I don't know if I seek it out, if I'm putting back on Phantasm 3, but I can rewatch it. So I don't know. But I'm going to go yes.
I like the score. I like that it's just a horror flick. I like that this is just a random choice. When I feel like after seeing it now, if I'm scrolling through stuff, don't know what to watch, if somebody has never seen it, I'd be like, all right, yeah, let's just throw something on to rewatch it. It's fine.
Eat an edible, throw on Phantasm 3.
Yeah, I think it is. It's rewatchable. It's got all the elements of a rewatchable film in it. It's fun, you know.
And
it's not. You don't have to think hard. You don't have to get too into it. It's, you know.
And don't let that one and casting fool you, because Angus Scrimm is the tall man, Reggie the ice cream man, and Mike, they're believable characters, and they're likable characters. They're definitely likable. It's just not like over the top acting.
No, but it's a horror flick. You expect. You have to know what to expect when you're watching these.
A little camp.
Yeah. So that is a total of 5 out of 10 for Phantasm 3.
That's fantastic.
Here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast, right up in your ass.
Up in your butthole, bitches. Now look here. Not only do we want you to take that and put that up your ass, we want you to check out our Patreon, our merchandise, all of our cool things that help keep the lights on around here. Because I'm letting you know right now. I don't want to turn on monetization, and I'm not going to, because it's stupid, all right? I want to enjoy a lot of good shows out there, and I do, but you got to skip fucking 2 minutes into it because it's, you know. Today's episode is brought to you by something that has nothing to do with our show.
Yeah,
Listen to us suck their cock for a couple seconds, and then if you type in a promo code, you'll get $5 off, even though it's taken off a shitload of our episode.
Look, man, a lot of people probably listen to this while they're driving, while they're working.
Or working out.
Yeah, or, I don't know, just on a road trip.
Off.
When you gotta skip past ads, it's fucking just.
I'm sorry. I said beating off.
Some people are waxing the carrot. Some people are polishing the pear. I don't know.
I just like throwing in my AirPods and beating off, listening to them guys' show. It's a good show.
Yeah, but you don't want to sit here. I mean, you gotta sit there and you gotta fucking. It ruins the mood with these damn advertisements and half the shit. That the level that we're at right now, the advertisements don't even apply to you. It's just annoying.
Yes.
So fuck that.
If it was relevant, like, I'm serious. If I had like Fangoria reached out and said something, sure, I would sponsor Fangoria or like let them. Yeah, Combo's cool too.
Slim Jims.
I'm cool with that too. But in general, like, I don't want this to be a fucking a NASCAR car covered and fucking slapped with other advertisements. I get it. I understand people got to keep the lights on, but luckily, you guys have helped us do that in a more genuine way where we can pay it forward too, so you don't feel like you're just giving us money. You're actually getting episodes and a fresh hoodie, a fresh beanie, okay, a fresh butt plug with Ozark Mark's face on it. You can find all that stuff, dog.
What a butt plug with my face on it.
Hey,
I want a shirt with your face on it.
Yeah. But I want it to be like a real random face, like a, you know what I mean? Like
Dude, I'm telling you, like, when I'm editing this show, and every time I pause it randomly, I send you pictures of our faces. They don't look good.
If it's an ugly face,
dude, just
if you get a shirt with my face and it's an ugly face, you can't sell multiple. It could be your shirt, and you just have to give me one with your face, and we could just bust it out at random events.
okay,
But it would be hilarious.
Fine. All you need to do is just watch this episode and just press pause, just randomly, just randomly, and you will find a fucking funny ass horrible face.
What's so fun too? I like that happens on movies and shit all the time too.
Oh no!
It's so
sometimes it's used like sometimes you look stoned, sometimes you look confused, sometimes you look scared, sometimes you look.
Mm-hmm. It just makes it all. It makes it all fun. The joys of editing.
Yes.
The things that nobody else sees.
No, except for me.
Mm-hmm. That is a fun aspect. That's what makes the show so great. And boys and girls, this is the season finale.
Oh man, what's in store for us next?
Next, we're gonna have a live show where Ozark and I fight each other with a knife to the death. Nah, I'm just kidding. We're not doing that at all. Boys and girls, we've been kind of gloating over our producer over here, obviously, over the last few seconds, and there's a reason for the season. And Ozark Mark is going to be the reason for the season. Look here.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Ozark Mark, it's your time. My time! Like Triple H, baby. It's your time. This next season, 5 episodes, all picked by Ozark Mark, because we want to see what's up in his noggin. I know he knows some fucking movies, and we're gonna.
Shit.
It's
I don't have to do the intros though, right? You still do the intros?
I'll do the intros.
Okay, good.
I'll do
I'm
the
not,
intros.
I'm not gonna be able to do that shit. Well, I could, but I'm not doing it.
You just do one, like, get 10 seconds in, like, I'm not doing this.
I just drank water. Stop it. Look, I'm not doing this. This is the movie. There you go. Okay. All right. I like that idea. I'll take over the realms here. I'll pick some 5 movies here because I've heard a lot of suggestions from people. Because you tell people you make a horror movie podcast, they tell you about their favorite movies. Or I've had a lot of suggestions from people, and I have agreed with some of those suggestions. There's some movies that we haven't done. I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna make a good little five fucking rounder here.
Yeah, and no rhyme or reason. It could be a sequel. It could be an original. It could be a remake. It could be current. It could be old. It could be new. I don't care if you pick Nosferatu. I don't care if you pick Evil Dead Rise. I mean, I'm saying you can go as new as you fucking want to. Although, in general, let's make a rule.
Okay.
Let's make a rule.
Okay.
A movie has to be 1 year old for us to cover it.
That's fine.
Because
no, I'm not gonna pick anything current, really.
Because,
I got some that I've been probably thinking about that I could pick. I can think of 5 easily that you probably won't pick.
I think the reason, too, with 1 year old, it gives it enough time to marinate and simmer because everything's exciting after you see it. Like, oh, this new Marvel movie was great, or this was great. And it's like, okay, well, I want you to give it a year. See how many times you rewatch it, how much it stays around. Not saying box office is a sure indicator because it's horror. Some don't even have box office releases, and they're great movies. But I want to see where its legacy sits after a year. But a year is kind of enough time. Like, say those It movies, for example. Like, if you made it the weekend it came out, you'd be like, this is the best-selling movie ever, whatever. Well, after a year, it still held up. Pennywise was still around. That movie was still kicking ass. Like, that legacy is carried on.
Right.
Evil Dead Rise, it's riding a really big high right now. I think it's a really good flick. We'll see where that's at, you know what I mean, in 11 months. And if it's still there, and I think it gives you enough time to step into it, and you don't feel like you have to pander. Because if you bash a newer movie, people are like, "What the fuck?" They get really mad. Whereas if it's a year old, people don't care at that point. They're like, "Oh, okay, I respect your opinion." But if it's new, and you don't like a movie that people like, it's like it's different. It's like there's a lot more shit talking. But I like that idea, Ozark Mark, and we've got some great things planned out for the season. I wasn't kidding about the live show. We're going to make the most entertaining horror live show going on. And whether it's once a month, twice a month, whatever, we have to make something that's going to be incredible. Obviously, as we said, we just got a lot of big things coming. From little movies to Ozark Mark and I fucking doing some live shows, some fun seasons, and we thank you guys. I mean, especially if you made it this far into the show, everybody's time is valuable. We all got shit to do. So if you've spent an hour with us and you do that constantly, that means a lot to us. And if you can tell people, that's the biggest way you can help us. Sure, we appreciate the Patreon, the merchandise, all that stuff. But if you can get somebody to listen to our show, That's incredible. You know, you find somebody that's like-minded, like, hey, I know these two fucking weirdos, and they talk about scary movies, like their show. More people coming in. That's where we're at. We've got a great audience. We have a lot of you returning listeners week after week, but it's only got one place to go. We got to grow, and that's what we're doing. And we do that with y'all's help, okay? Because we also don't want to be people that pay a shitload of money for advertisements and be real spammy. And we don't want to be one of them type shows. Never have been. It's not what it's about. We'd rather give you a good product. So I hope that's what we deliver to your front door, to your back door, in your mouth, in your ears, in your eyes. All your senses, even your sixth sense with Bruce Willis.
All the holes.
All of them.
We're hitting them all.
Uh-huh.
Small, large.
Yep.
You better start expanding them bitches.
Mm-hmm. Put fists in them.
Yeah.
Because we're coming. We're coming hard on your face.
Okay. Well, that's a good way to end the episode, I believe. We're coming on your face.
P3, baby, coming on your face.
I hope you enjoyed the season of the 2s and then the 3s. Now we're going to get into the Ozark season next, apparently. So I got to start thinking of fucking movies because now I have to do more work than I already do. So thank you for that, Christian Ramey.
Just give them to me.
Fucking a producer abuse. I'm telling you, that's a real fucking thing.
It is.
Don't be a producer, kids. It sucks. Mm-hmm. Okay? Stick to your dreams.
Sell drugs.
Fucking mow lawns or something for your life. It's a nice, easy life. You get a free tan. Okay?
Be a pool boy.
Yeah. Oof. There was this video I saw of some pool boy bitching that, like, all these MILFs, they just want to have orgies and stuff, and it's fucking, it's like ruining my job. It's like, you motherfucker. All right, anyway.
All right. Love you, boys and girls. We'll
Goodbye.
see you next week.
Yeah.